Terry, I know this isn't going to make a huge impact for us, but no more UFC pay-per-view in the United States. We won't have that because they have the deal with Sportsnet. But Paramount Plus is going to be the home of the UFC.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. But hey, everyone, just use a VPN and get Paramount Plus. You'll be fine.
I was gonna say I don't know what you're talking about. Every Saturday I'm gonna be watching from like Wyoming.
Yeah.
Just on my couch in Wyoming. You know?
I have the IPTV, so I just pay $45 for
Okay,
the
yeah,
whole year.
but like by the time you see the fight, like
yeah, when
it's
the
like
feds
it's like
raid
Sunday.
your house, man.
Yeah,
Mine doesn't
get 'em.
buffer. I don't have to worry about being put on a list. Your fucking house is listed on the dark web right now. I am fine paying a subscription fee to watch my sports. No, I don't want fucking Fubo TV, One Soccer, DAZN,
Yeah.
Sportsnet, TSN,
I can't fucking
Dog
stand
app,
it.
Cat app, whatever. 3 mixers, fucking Equalizer, all that shit. Like fucking, you can get insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, XQC quota is what I was going after. If no one picked up that one, cut it in. I'm happy to pay.
Yeah.
But if you're a Canadian sitting here, like, I have to pay $90, they get it for fucking free.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed.
And you know who it is. It's the people who just bumped up their subscription price an extra, I don't know how much, $100. It's Sportsnet.
Yeah.
They do all that flack, and then it's like it quieted down, and now they're gonna have all the MMA, UFC guys on it. Like you said, I have DAZN. I can watch football. I can watch Champions League.
Yep.
I would pay an extra $10 a month to have my sports on there. Like if DAZN was like, hey, we'll add UFC and NHL, pay an extra $20 a month, no problem.
Yeah, that'd be an easy pick.
If it could all be on one. Now, if you have Paramount Plus, you can use it through Prime on your TV. So
Correct.
one less app,
Yeah.
easier. It notifies
Yep.
you when shit's on. Yes. So now if you're in the United States, you're gonna have like Monday Night Hockey in the NHL. You're gonna have Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to grab your UFC from Paramount Plus. I'm fine with having those little add-ons. My biggest issue, I think, that will come from this though, is like contracts-wise for fighters in the UFC would have like pay-per-view cuts and stuff. I think they're gonna be a little salty.
That was the one thing I was
Yeah.
pretty concerned about. You know, like, so now you're not getting the take or a percentage of that based off you won or you lost or how the event did and the gate
Yeah.
and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It is
but I
pretty
feel like at
concerning.
this point, the UFC probably has enough information that they can base, like, okay, you're this big of a star, you're going to get X amount of dollars instead of what your pay-per-view cut would
Yeah.
have been. We'll give you 300,000, or like if you're a Connor, it'll be 10 million. Like they'll probably have a way to work around that.
But it wouldn't surprise me if UFC has like, I'd love to be able to see and we're not going to be able to see all the contract details. They're going to probably come out with a list of like 10 things that are within that contract.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see, like, I'm sure there's some sort of backdoor negotiation here where it's like, because of the rise in our users of the subscription model, like, and based after this event or how many people sign up before a major event,
Yeah.
is there a part of that might get kicked back to the UFC for the amount of users that are signing up?
The other thing I wonder is Paramount's paying $7.7 billion for 7 years, so
7
1.1 a year.
Yeah.
Is the UFC gonna put like a chunk of that aside, and then that's your pay-per-view kind of like increment there, because they just got $1.1 billion dollars extra.
Bumping up contracts
So
or bumping up.
maybe
yeah.
instead of like it's I'm gonna use layman numbers, like instead of $100,000 in 10%, it's like, hey, here's 120, like flat. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly it's gonna work. The interesting thing I'm intrigued to see is you talked about how like with Paramount you can do it through Amazon,
Yep.
and through Prime and everything. NHL last year on Prime was really good. Does that open the door for 5 years down the road when Sportsnet's getting renewed? Do Canadians get just Prime start taking?
Oh,
over
without
more
a doubt, I think
Yeah,
they'll
I
go
hope
in
so.
and try and align it, because
So there's hope, guys.
one of the reasons why TSN had such a great run with UFC stuff is because the ESPN relationship. So they were just
Yep.
throwing everything back and forth, and it was a very harmonious relationship.
Yeah.
The Sportsnet did have some of the UFC stuff back in the day, and like when it was more fringe after like that went away. But one other aspect to this that I think is sort of interesting is Paramount is owned by Viacom. Viacom owned Bellator. They sold Bellator, used the money from the Bellator sale to do the deal with the UFC. So now they have
Funny.
everything they ever wanted without actually owning it. But a very interesting, because Paramount had, Bellator on it for a bit, and people were like,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
And now,
It's Bellator though, right?
Yeah, now
Like, you
PF
only give a shit if you're invested in that fighter or you're a diehard.
yeah,
right?
like, so now, like, now they have, like, PFL sucking absolute shit
Yep.
over there. This is, like, nothing but good for the UFC. Paramount Plus, I think, is a cheaper subscription, too.
I think it's $8 in the US.
I think-
It's
here
like
it's-
$12.99 for the premium, and if you're getting pay-per-views, I think that's where it's going to be
Yeah, 'cause
locked behind is the premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I subscribed here because we were watching my wife and I were watching Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I thought
So-
you had free TV everywhere.
Yeah,
in the
No,
world.
but that was
Ooh.
like before we had the IPT, we were subscribed to it. And
Yeah,
we just
yeah,
kept
yeah.
it anyway. So it has been like beneficial, and I love the fact that you can get it through Prime.
Yeah. So the cost of watching every UFC event this year would have been $1,160 USD. You're now paying $120 for in 2026.
Yeah, and it's a good business move because I think they'll make more because they were getting murdered by illegal streamers. Like, I have a Russian website where I would go in. I, without fail, was watching UFC main events. Occasionally, 1 to 2 would die. Maybe I'm watching it in 480p, but I would accept it over dealing with the nonsense.
Correct.
And it'll just open up more opportunities. Because one thing that doesn't get considered when they talk about these deals is not just the consumer. It's the bars, restaurants, all those broadcast areas.
Mhm.
They now have to go through Paramount.
Yeah.
They charge more.
Yeah, yeah, for
They
sure.
charge more for that service. So you're
Also, shout out Stream East.
hey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
they're
love
a good
Stream
one too.
East.
So you said Russian things. Like, has the KGB knocked on your door at all yet, or anything? Or
Nah, they're not worried about me.
No?
But like the UFC was dead. And Dana knew it was dead. He tried to go to war with the illegal streamers, and this is them losing the war.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
pay-per-view's dead. What is on pay-per-view anymore? Boxing?
not even
Dane
WWE?
Cook comedy special.
Like movies on direct? Like, is that a thing still? Like,
Yeah, but that's
He's checked.
that's
Nick
also
Bruce and Nick
moving to the way of like Netflix. Is
Mhm.
like the boxing and those events are going to Netflix.
Yep,
So like
yep.
it is. You can see this departure now. Like, is this just realizing that right now is the right time for the UFC to do this deal because they are losing on like pay-per-view and those costs? So I don't know. Like, do you see other events maybe going this way for streaming services?
I do see it
Yes.
because like it's funny because like I agree with you saying they've lost and this is them accepting they lost.
Mhm.
I would gladly lose if you handed me a $1.1 billion check.
Oh, for sure. But
Like-
I think in a perfect world where they're able to gate everything, it's worth more.
100%. But it's like that's the thing where it's like they're losing, but they're kind of still doing pretty fine. They're gonna have lots more Paramount subscriptions now, so Paramount's happy
Yeah,
with it.
Paramount
Paramount's
actually
gonna
has
cool.
good. It's not like it went to some shitty service where you're like,
Like
what the fuck does
Fubo.
MGM Plus have?
Yeah.
Paramount has a really good movie library too, so you're not really getting hosed. Now, I think
No.
everybody would have been like, "Oh, I wish Netflix would have got it."
yes, I'm surprised Netflix didn't get it with WWE being
I think
there.
the WWE streaming has been such a debacle,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
also Netflix isn't a profitable company. I don't know if you guys know that they don't make a. They don't. They've never really been a profitable
Well,
company.
apparently they make one. I just saw this yesterday. I think they make $1 million every 53 seconds on their app. So like that's
Interesting.
and once again I just saw this video. It's either 53 seconds or like a minute and 7
That
or
doesn't
something.
sound profitable.
But it's $1 million. Like
Yeah,
every
yeah.
every
They
sec-
spend so much. You
wild.
know how
But
much
yeah,
fucking
they're spending
bullshit.
a lot of money to make Netflix originals.
And they make so for the one thing is they'll make stuff for like a smaller demographic, right? And they'll make a fair amount of content for it. But they're also making content for all these other demos at the same time
Yeah.
too, across the world in different countries.
Yeah.
So there's just so much content on Netflix we would never look at, but it's available there.
Because
So
that niche is gonna
That
watch
niche,
it.
that niche will watch it, and Netflix becomes the home for underwater basket weaving aficionados or whatever the fuck they're making movies
I
about.
have to
But
tune into that.
I will say the shitty thing about streaming is when it first started, it was convenient.
yeah,
Now it's so inconvenient to have 45 different fucking
I know.
services.
Nick and I were just talking about this on the way into the studio.
It's
Yeah.
annoying.
you just gotta hop in, and when the pizza's hot, you gotta grab it. And sometimes you can get away with not paying for certain things, and there's a few of the services that are free to watch. You still get ads, but I've got a good way to not be annoyed with that. That's your standing up time. Walk around for 4 minutes, 3 minutes,
So
whatever
one-
it is.
one
Get a
thing-
snack.
Yeah, and one thing that I think we've kind of overlooked here is, with the $7.7 billion, is there now more room for development of, they had the UFC fighters and the
Yeah,
like
the
all
Ultimate Fighter.
Is there a development more on the underground bringing fighters up? Is there a potential acquisition that could be happening here very soon with part of those funds? So is there something else that they could tie in that's also going to elevate their
Well, the
essential
UFC
stock?
already has their own streaming service too. So
Yeah.
like UFC Fight Pass has everything below PFL basically gets streamed on that. And they have they've conquered jiu-jitsu. Is Karate Combat on it maybe?
Yep.
So
Is-
like
This would be a great time to
Yeah.
use part of those funds as part of a strategic, M&A.
who would they buy? Is there anyone available for them to buy? They could buy like the LFA, but that doesn't, or whatever. That doesn't make sense. There's no other competitor.
I mean, one would be like the only
Oh,
other.
they're in so much debt. I don't think
Yeah,
they would
but,
touch
like,
it.
Yeah, but you get it at a
you would
good
be
premium,
doing it
though.
to acquire like the roster and like the back catalog, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like they did with Pride. Similar to that concept. So it's like we're controlling the monopoly even more.
All right, hey, fuck. Let us know if you think this is going to be good for us Canadians. Doesn't seem like it's going to matter too much.